Good afternoon, folks. Today we're going to work on a Craftsman LT 3000. Very, very nasty. 20 horsepower. Intech Plus. Plus what? I don't know. The problem the customer says is it doesn't want to start. So let's see what it's doing. I have the breakdown so the safety will work. It does not want to turn over. Let's just check voltage and see what we have. Showing over 12 volts. Ooh, a whopping 190 cold cranking now. Battery's kind of iffy. Tell you what. Let's hook up the little jumper box and see if that'll help. You know what that sounds like? Compression release issues or hydro locked. So let's get the hood out of the way. Let's see them. So our first step, let's pull the spark plug out and see what it looks like, because we all know a spark plug tells a story. There's your answer. Fuel running out of that cylinder steady. Look at that. Now what I'm gonna do is turn this over by hand, hopefully. Look at that. Oh my goodness. Could you hear that in the crankcase? The issue is carburetor leaking fuel. We have two choices. We can fix a needle in the seat or pop a carburetor on it and move on down the road. So, time and money. So what we will do on this case is we will pop a new carburetor on and move it on down the road. Okay, some of the tools we're going to need is a 3/8 wrench or ratchet wrench for taking the two bolts off the back of the engine cover. I believe that's a T45 Torx to take these front ones. Most of the time you just have to loosen these and loosen the bolts in the back, because generally the covers will have a groove in them. Some don't. You do have to remove it. Also going to need a 7/16 11mm wheel work and an 8mm. and you'll see why here shortly. All right, let's get to it. I forgot to mention we are going to need a pair of pliers and a way to clamp off this fuel line. All we're doing is loosening these up until the washer is out past those little tabs. That wasn't going to fall out. Some of these, I think I just moved the camera. Let's see if I can. Okay. Some of these are so close, depending on the machine, that you have to remove the fuel tank, and it does make it a lot easier. It's only 2 bolts. Nothing to it. That's it. If you have just a round hole, you can open those up and make it so if you ever have to take it off, it comes off easy without taking all the bolts out. I wonder what this guy's air filter looks like. He's going to get a new one, I think. Alright. Now, some guys like to take these off at the intake here and pull the carburetor off. I pop it loose here. It's just easier to me. Let's get another tool. I hope you can still hear me. Here are 2 more tools you'll need. And you can use vice grips or whatever you got. There's probably no fuel in this tank after as much as it's out. Let's see. Oh my goodness, the trash. There's a washer that's supposed to be in these caps. They are bad about dry rotting. They will get down to the bottom of that tank, which has happened in this case. So we'll remove the tank, flip it upside down, shake it all around, and do the hokey pokey. And we'll get all that junk out of there. But pop that down. Now, 2 screws back here. There's a breather hose right there. And I just take my socket there. Look at the gas coming out. You might can't see that. Sounds like my battery's dead. Pop that off. See all that gas? Switch over to 8mm. That one came out with it. Now, before I do this, I'm going to zoom in. I'm going to show you the easy way for these linkages. Let's see if I can get this a little closer shot. Hopefully. Bear with me, people. Bear with me. I'm not a pro camera guy like some of these people out there. But I'm trying, and I'm learning. Now, your wire. Hold the carburetor. Pull the screw out. Now watch how I turn this carburetor. I'll pull it away from it. I'll turn this way while grabbing the choke lever. Pulls out. Lift up. Throw it over there. Continue turning the carburetor. There you go. Okay. Now I do notice there is supposed to be a spring on this which hooks into the tiny hole. Your linkage goes in the big hole and there should be a spring there. I've probably got a scrap one somewhere. So let's go over to the carburetor bench and just take this apart real quick. I'll I am sure you've seen 100 videos on a Nikki 6 being taken apart, but I'll show you, and I'll also show you on this guy's going to get one of the Chinese carburetors. He says he can't afford the factory one, so we're going to take a look inside here first so that I can put him a Chinese carburetor, and we'll rejet it, pressure test it, and make sure it's right. Okay, let's go to the carburetor bench. All right, let's see if it'll come apart. Got these here just in case. This is the impact driver that you smack with a hammer. It helps you get stuff loose sometimes. Because these two screws can be a booger. Let's first take a look at this. Anti-backfire solenoid stuck open. Let's get working more. You can do these with flat or Phillips, but if you're doing it by hand, generally a flat screwdriver, you can break them loose. If you don't have a impact, you can use a little pair of vice grips and get those boogers as tight as you possibly can to break them loose. Let's show you. I can go a little tighter. Give it a jerk and it'll break it loose like that. Not many people like working on Nikki 6. Now these are fixable. I'm only taking this apart to show you guys. Float's bottoming out. Generally, I would clean the outside before I went into one, so I don't get trash on the inside. Let's take a look at this needle a little closer. You can probably see it better on the camera. You can see the ring around that. Not a lot of trash. I think our jet's still out. That's your main jet. So what do y'all think? You want to fix this one or put another one on? Well, we can fix it, but I got to get some stuff knocked out and I got to save this guy some money. So let's get a new carburetor and go through it right quick. Let's see how much junk they added into this box. They put these hoses in there, and I'll show you what to do with that. Throw it in the trash. Not worth 2 cents. That and you throw in the trash. That's for your adjustment screw. Save your gasket. Okay, let's take this one apart. First thing we want to do, let's see if this one's going to leak. Get our pressure tester. If you don't have one of these, this is a Mighty Vac. The model number is on another video. I'll get it for you though. If I can remember. If you don't have one of these, you can make a jig, or just go back over to your machine, hook your fuel line up. Do not install it because you're just going to run fuel back in your engine if it is leaking. but you can just sit there and hold it, let your fuel line up, and watch. And what you're watching for is a emulsion tube in there. It'll start coming out of that. Now, let's hook this on, and let's see if it's going to hold. She's holding at about 7 pounds. I'd like it a little better, but this carburetor is dry. It seems to be holding and not leaking, so I think we'll be fine. Now, the reason I'm going to take this apart is because this main jet, which goes up into this, then most likely the hole is not big enough. And it will go under, and that sucks. This one's got straight Phillips, huh? Let's get a regular Phillips in, folks. Nice. This one's at least got a brass end on the shutoff of backfire solenoid. I like that because sometimes the rubber will, when you get an engine shutting off hot, and I think I've got a video on that, the rubber tip will get loose and it'll suck it up into the main jet and shut your engine off when it's hot as it expands. So what we're going to do, I'm going to pop our needle in the seat, maybe. Got a tool to do that, right? Needle nose. Another thing too I forgot to mention to look for, even if your needle in the seat can be good, if that O-ring is bad, replace it, and you should replace it anyhow. This one's stuck down in here. If that O-ring leaks, it's gonna flood, make you think it's a needle in the seat. Give me a second and I'll give you the part number for the Briggs Stratton. This gasket and that comes as a kit. And just a regular O-ring, I don't have any that work, so hold on. All right, there's your part number, 698781, and as you can see, it comes with that gasket, and it has the O-ring in this kit. So you can order those online or wherever. Anyhow, let's drill a jet out. That's what y'all want to see. Let's see what difference we can see in the size hole. You're not going to be able to see that on the camera, I doubt. But what we're going to do is we're going to check the old one against the new one. And the way I do that, it's one of these little guys. I think they call them a micro drill bit. Little tiny drill bits. Let's see which one fits the old one. That one's painted red because they use that a lot on the bigger engines. That's not it. That's too big. That one's really close. That one's even closer. Alright, let's see what this new one does. I want to know if this hole is big enough. that's almost perfect there. That jet is bigger. Doesn't seem that I have a good size to do this. I don't want to open it up too much. You open it up too much, it definitely will not run right. Tell you what, let's do. Let's file this puppy out a little bit with your tip cleaners. Have to be very careful. Don't clamp down on this too tight because you will squish it. Little tip cleaner. We're going to file and open this bad boy up a little bit. If these things will get out of the way. Shot of carb spray, brake cleaner, whatever. Make sure any burrs are gone. Now we'll put this jet back in. I'm going to drop it in the little end down. Hope you can see that. Look down in there and make sure it fell right. Take you a tiny screwdriver and you're going to have to seat it. See, it just popped in. Oop, and it popped back out. See, drop it. Throw it on the floor. And lose it. Alright, let me look around. Well, I finally found it. Alright, let's put this thing together. What you want to do, the O-ring I was telling you about, you're going to line it up there. Now most of the time I'll put the gasket on this, but this one seems to be in place and we'll try it this way. No. Just do it the way I always do it. Line that gasket up and it should fit right down in those grooves. A little Vaseline on that O-ring, it'll help it pop down in that hole. Not gonna hurt anything. Press it on. Beautiful. Okay. I'm back and forth. I want to make sure that I'm even tightening this thing down. Don't want it doo-wopped or cattywomped. Look that one up, Rusty Rooster. Cattywomped. You probably know that term. Y'all go check out old Rusty Rooster. He's pretty cool. Okay. Let's see if we can get the carburetor back on. I'm going to show you. I got to go find a doggone spring. I'm going to show you real quick though. Pop that in. That's another thing I got to show you on these Chinese carburetors. You're going to have to take a little drill bit or file. Got an injury. A little drill bit or file, and you're going to have to open that hole up, otherwise the throttle is not going to work correctly. I got to go find a spring, guys. All right, folks. Got her outside. She's all put together. Let's see if it actually runs. Thank you for watching. Click that subscribe button. Give us a thumbs up. Leave us a comment. If you got any ideas for any videos you'd like to see, throw them down in the comments section. I'd love to see them. Have a great day, folks. We appreciate each and every one of you. Stay safe.